I feel like every one of these that I've been doing lately, it's somebody that I met down in Key West. That Key West trip was just gold for me. I didn't know.
That's the whole point of that mastermind.
Yes.
Right. That's the whole thing, that why they put that together and what's so gold about it. And until you get to experience it, you just don't know.
Yeah. It's pretty doggone cool. I remember I went down there and I thought, here's another rah-rah event. I'm going to meet a bunch of agents who are average agents wishing that they were doing above average. And there's going to be 2 or 3 people who do above average. And they're going to tell the rest of us how to not be average. And that's going to be it, right?
Yep.
There wasn't an average person in that room. It was
right.
all studs. And there were only, 50, 60 people in that room. It was not a big room at all.
No, I think the max was 60 people.
Yeah. It was amazing. I learned so much more in that one, and I was only there. I think I was there for a day or 2, and it was like a 3-day event or something like that. But I missed the last day. But it was the most amazing between you, Kyle Whistle, Veronica Figueroa, man, there's so many more in there. But what a cool experience, man. Where else do you get that?
Nowhere. I mean, you can pay for it. So luckily, just being a part of the network we're a part of, that's included in our group. But to be normally a part of that mastermind is $25,000 a year. And I'm like, no, let me find my other way in.
Yeah, exactly.
And the average GCI, I think, was $1.5 million in that room.
That's amazing. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yep.
Not at all. So let's talk about your podcast, man. Let's, like, everybody who sees you, I got to imagine you guys have marketed it so well. It's you, Brian Force, Matt. Now, listen here, before we can get into that, man, we got a guy with the name Good. We got a guy with the name Force. And then Kelderman, like, why didn't he go get his name changed too?
We're still trying. So the funny thing is I don't know if you remember this, but he lost a bet or something. He did change his name and it was I don't know if you remember this, it was Matt MF and Jones or something like that.
I did see that.
Yes. Right. Yes. He kept it up for like a day and then changed it back because he lost a bet. And but the podcast in the group, it's funny how the only real estate podcast worth listening to got started was we had a buddy who has this garage studio, and he was testing some video out, testing some podcast equipment out, and he has me, our buddy has me show up, and he's like, "What do you want to talk about?" I'm like, "Shit, I don't know." I'm not one. I don't just talk to a camera. I can't talk to a wall. I can't carry that conversation on. I need people there.
Yep.
And so I was like, well, let's get some people. So I called up Matt and then Brian, and then we all came together on that. There was actually a fourth, but it just so happened that Matt, Brian, and I really meshed well.
Yep.
And we're like, this was fun. We can talk shop all day.
Yeah.
Can we keep this going? What will we name it? And so we're just riffing and trying to throw out names. And just as a joke, I was like, how about the only real estate podcast worth listening to? Because this is going to be the best one ever.
Yeah. Right.
And so we're like, let's go with it.
Boom.
And so it started from there. We were doing it out of this guy's garage. It then turned into, we tried to do it as an online show, and that didn't go very well. And so then we went into a studio format. So how you see it today is a studio format. And I think we just recorded our 70th episode or 71 yesterday.
I got to pick up my game, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're still having a good time, right? We wanted to make it that real, raw, relatable content and talk about what we are struggling with in our business.
Yep.
Right. And we run a group called The Only Real Estate Group Worth Being a Part of. So we're keeping that brand. That's a Facebook group where we've got 4,500 agents in there, and that's growing, where people can ask questions. They can share success stories. We share like funny tidbits. Like, we get some random text messages, and we'll just share that in the group. So it's just a good place, and everyone should check it out.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys have such great chemistry, and I'm in that group. That's where I see you guys. Is there any other place that they can catch you guys if they're not catching you on Facebook?
So we're on Instagram. We don't really do Instagram as well. We're on our podcast is on YouTube, and it's on Spotify and iTunes.
Yeah, you guys are everywhere, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, so
that's got to be Brian, right? I mean, how are you guys getting this to all these places? Who's the brains?
Right now we're using the studio, but we are taking that back in house. So that will definitely be Brian.
Yeah, that's amazing. That guy is sharp.
Yeah,
he reminds me of what's the Goodwill Hunting when they're in the bar. And then the buddy behind, like, I'm like the buddy behind him, right? Or Matt Kelderman is.
Yeah.
And he's like, my boy's wicked smart. That's him talking about his boy, Brian. Go ahead.
Yeah. Brian's the implementer, right? So like, and it's good and bad because, we'll toss around ideas and it's like, oh, but Brian, you got to put it in place.
Yes.
Right. And it's good and bad because look, we have the vision on it, Brian can then execute on it, and you have to have read the like the book Rocket Fuel, so they talk about that in there. You've got the visionary and then the implementer, and even in the good home team business that I run, I am definitely not the implementer. Like I would be if I didn't have the right people on the ship, then I would be in trouble because I just can't implement to save my life.
Yeah, and I'm really finding that's who's successful. It's not being good at something. It's being good at being aware of what you're not good at and filling that with good people that you trust. And it's really hard to do that because we all get in and it's cheap to be by yourself. So everybody, you're kind of attracted to cheap, right? So that's one thing you got to get over. And you want to micromanage everything because God forbid I give it away to somebody. But holy smokes, if you can figure out how to delegate and find people who can fill your holes, and you've got to get rid of your ego, which that's a tough thing for an industry filled with ego.
So, I will just one little advice on that. So we're now going down this path and not just in our podcast show and in our real estate businesses. And Brian has done a really, really good job at this in their business with the Hergenrother DFW group.
Yeah.
I have the good home team. The way I run that is I still like to read the newspaper. I don't look at it on an iPad. Like I'm old school, Brian definitely is more innovative and they're running a lot of their things through virtual assistants. And I will say that I just hired our second virtual assistant for $3.50 an hour. So that comes out to $7,500 a year.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. If you're not an implementer like I am, you don't have to truly go drop a ton of cash. Yep. You can go to our buddy Justin Nelson over at Sphere Rocket and just a little plug. If you do hire a virtual assistant through Justin Nelson, drop the promo code TORE, T-O-R-E, because it will give you the better pricing, right? Truly he's placing so many virtual assistants right now. It's not even funny. He raised his price, but he's keeping it for our members. Yeah. So that's something even for you, Joe, if you're looking for VAs, but you can find these virtual assistants that will help execute and implement for you, which is something that I struggle with, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I will chase, I'm like a dog. I will chase any shiny object. I'm like, ooh, this is the golden ticket. This is going to make us go to 100 million in sales. But then I go and try to tackle it and I don't know how to implement it very well. So it's done half-assed. And then I've just got another expensive product that's maybe barely making me profitable on that. And then I have to cut ties with it.
Yeah. So I just got my transaction coordinator literally like 2 weeks ago. And I didn't get one for so long, going back to that, oh my God, I'm scared of spending some money. I'm thinking I don't want a $10 an hour person. I want a really good $20, $25 an hour person. But I don't want, like, you do the math, that's 40, 50 grand if they're working 40 hours a week. Well, dude, this is like week 50 here. Like I just started, man. I ain't got 40, 50 grand to drop on something like that. So I was like, man, how's it? And then my buddy, Alex Hagg, who you probably met, I don't know if you remember him down in Key West. He has been a really good mentor of mine. And he said, Joe, dude, you can get one for like $350 a transaction. I was like, I can pay these people by the transaction. He's like, yeah, they got multiple agents. It's not just you. I was thinking I had to fully feed this person. And once I figured that out, man, now I'm just killing it. It's awesome. So with that in mind, tell me, what does a virtual assistant do? What's the difference?
I mean, it can do anything that you want them to do that can take away. Let's say, for example, this is on a larger scale. I think we have 60 something properties under contract, right? So my in-person assistant has been with me 10 years. She's amazing, right? She's drowning in paperwork. She's drowning in the compliance side of things.
Yeah.
And so this new VA that we've hired can go and take that over. So if you're a new agent, and you're just dipping your toe into the transaction coordination side, for $350 that you're paying per transaction, Joe, you can go get a VA for $3.50 an hour. That comes out to $140 a week, right? So $140 a week. Now you got a full-time employee that not only is doing your transaction coordination, now you can help have them clean up your database. Let's organize your database.
Really?
Right? They can go learn social media marketing, doing some posts. Maybe LinkedIn right now is hot, right? Yeah. So have them build out your LinkedIn and start friend requesting. Maybe you've got you're going after certain business owners that you want to build relationships with. Now you can go have them connection request on LinkedIn, send a connection message and start funneling that down. For the Joe Rosen show, we can have that VA come and start booking guests for them on top of your transaction coordination that you were going to pay $350 per transaction for. Yeah. Now for $140 a week, for 40 hours, you got a full-time person who can handle all that and then some.
But they've got the skill level at that amount of money to do that?
100%. Because here's the thing: these are people in the Philippines that at $3.50 an hour is still above what their living hourly wages in that country, right? And here's the thing: they knock it out of the park for you. Let's say in 12 months they knock it out of the park. Your business is increasing. Why not give them a raise to $3.75 to $4? Yeah, right. Because if you have an in-person, office staff, they're talking about minimum wage going to $15 an hour next year. Yeah. And so now you start doing the dirty math on it. It's like, all right, I can have for $15 an hour for this, I could have 3 full-time virtual assistants knocking out all this stuff for me. Right? It's all the behind the scenes. So you can do what you do best, which is, I call it the politician, right? Kiss babies, shake hands, yes, and go and meet more people.
Yes. Yeah. Man, you're blowing my mind right now. I'm just getting into the TC thing. Now you're getting me into this whole thing, and you're really blowing my mind right now.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Keep going the TC route for right now. Explore the virtual, just open your mind to this virtual assistant, because they can do things. Once you teach them and train them, they'll do it way better than you can.
Really?
Yep.
So is that one working just for you, or do they have multiple people they're working for?
No, working just for me.
That's wild.
They're technically an employee without being a true employee, because they're not here in the States. They're still fully working for you. You have an employment contract with them. Yeah. Justin Nelson over at Sphere Rocket handles all of that. And starts there are some training that they do with it to help just get the person acclimated. Because there's you don't have to give them your password. Like, there's a lot more to it. But once you get it, like once you see behind the curtain, you're like, all right, this is really easy. Now I just got to focus on training. Like, if I'm going to train you, Joe, I'm going to record my screen just like this. And I'm going to go through everything I want you to learn and take off my plate, so that I can go do what I do best, which is talking to sellers, right? Calling sellers or potential sellers, and then talking to them, following up. And then if I have anybody that I need to, let's say I've got a chase file for leads, I could have that VA just do emails and text messages to help probe them into getting into back into conversation. There's so much we could do. I could do a whole show just on that.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. So looking at all the different things that you're doing and with the podcast and you're doing way more than people technologically. If my math is right, over the last 2 years, you guys have done $100 million in sales. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah. You do better. Yeah. You do math better than I do, but that's right.
Yeah. Hey, I can crunch it really well. I just need to go and do it myself.
Yes.
But so all I see, I swear, on Instagram, Facebook, it doesn't matter where I go, is Here We Grow Again. What is Here We Grow Again?
So here we grow again, right? And then you've got all the fire emojis on there. We are part of an amazing network here at eXp Realty. So I'm coming up July. So coming up here right now will be my 1-year anniversary here at eXp Realty. So that's coming up here in the next couple of weeks. And so Here We Grow Again is we have had the benefits and the honor to be able to partner with agents across the country to help show them the value, right? To what we can do to help people sell more houses consistently, build a consistent real estate income out of this, and then some. Yeah. Right. I mean, I will tell you, I started this business in 2005 as an unlicensed assistant, grew into, getting licensed, to being an individual agent, to starting the Good Home Team with my brother, who's my business partner, in 2009, taking that from 0 to 200 plus closings a year. We've done as high as 55 million in a year. We bounce around that $45 million mark right now. We started flipping houses in 2010. That's grown to we have 80 to 100 million, just depending on the market valuation of it, of our investment holdings. So I've got out in Florida, I've got 3 storage facilities. I've got 3 here in Texas. We've got duplex developments. I mean, it's led to so much more. Yeah. That we have the responsibility to help our agents in our network to show them how much more that they can grow into, and how much wealth and what it can do for their family, what they can build within this, and just in real estate in general.
Yeah, I think when I was attracted to it, I remember going down to that Key West thing, and I always tell this story. I was going down with a couple buddies that had just left Keller, went to eXp, and I thought you were the first one. I remember you were the first one I met. And I thought we were just going to some, not Tony Robbins, but like a Tony Robbins kind of event, right? There was going to be some speakers, everything else. And the first night, it's not even an event. It's just us going up and having like late night happy hour on the roof of whatever bar we were at. And I went up and I shook your hand. Hey, Nick Good with eXp Realty. Oh, okay, cool. And then, hey, Alex Haig with eXp Realty. Oh, okay, cool. And then and then pretty soon I went over to my buddy Dean. I'm like, Dean, there are an unreasonable amount of people from eXp here. He's like, oh, dude, it's an eXp event. I was like, what? But so then I'm like, oh man, I'm being recruited, which maybe I was, but it was incredible because the conversations I had there, I was saying, there's nobody more motivated than me. I'm going to kill it, but I want to do it faster. I want to do it more. How do I do that? I want to get coaching. How do I spend $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a month and get an amazing coach? And how do you know the difference between a good coach, an average coach, not so good of a coach? And there's different people. So you might have a great coach for this person. They might not be a great coach for me, right? You need somebody else. And Alex really just it was a slap in the face. And I didn't get it at first. It took me a minute to really just think about it. But he's like, dude, look at this room. All of these people are studs. Like you said, man, they're closing 1.5 on average a year. He said, all of them will help you, and they will all help you for free. And all of them, most of them, were paying for their coaching services when they were at some other brokerage. Now, when they come here, they can do that for free for you. And I was like, it took me.
And here's the thing: it's not even for free, because we have a financial interest in our agents' success and growth, right? Even though, here, for a prime example, I will help you all day long. Now, does it directly benefit me? No, it doesn't, because of how our lines are matched up, it doesn't directly financially benefit me. But it benefits eXp Realty in the name of it, and we are publicly traded. I have just in the stock awards alone, right? I have over 25,000. I didn't check to see what it ended at today, but I have over $25,000 in stock. Just now coming up on my 1-year anniversary, that was stuff I didn't pay for.
That's amazing.
I was at Keller Williams for 13 years.
Yeah.
I didn't have any stock, right? Amazing company. I mean, Joe, when we met at that mastermind event, first of all, you got to tell the story. You were using some broken down iPhone. Couldn't even take a real photo with it. I mean, you've come a long way, buddy.
Oh, you, man. This is all you.
You've come a long way.
Conversation.
So it started, I like to say that I was the first mentor there in helping you get a better phone. And then you saw the better way of coming and joining us at EXP. But that was the thing about it is you were open-minded enough once you're there to see the value, right? And learn and look at what you're doing and the success that you've had in less than a year, or maybe you're coming up on your year mark in Port St. Lucie there, but you're crushing it.
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks. Right. So, and so that comes because you're learning, you're absorbing, and then you're implementing.
Yeah. Implementation is the biggest one.
Right. But you didn't have to pay for that.
Nope.
Right. Because you're getting it because everyone over here is willing to share. They're willing to open up their book and say, this is what's working here for me.
Yeah.
And I want you to rip it off. In fact, I want you to rip it off and make it better and then report back to me. Because if you can make it better, like, let's have some reciprocation here and tell me what I can improve upon that or what success you're having. And it's a win-win for everyone and for the industry.
It's a completely different culture. I mean, and I'm not going to say I blame them. I don't blame the people at the last brokerage I was at, the big studs. You go talk to them, you ask for the help. They're busy. There's not really a financial incentive. They're doing profit share instead of revenue share. So, and you're not under them. So they're not making any money off of you. You're not helping them. It's a completely different culture. So you get shut down. I come over here, I've got monsters helping me with and it's exactly like you said. I get people saying, Joe, here's it all. Just take it and let me know if there's any way you'd change it. And that's just the culture, man. It's amazing.
Let me walk a little story. And this is a humbling experience, right? So when I started the Good Home Team in 2009, we only experienced growth, right? We were averaging there for a while, 36% year over year growth. And we topped out about 55 million. And it was 2 years ago. So that was 2018. 2019 was the first year ever to go backwards. And I'm going to tell you that from having almost 10 years of growth, and then all of a sudden, you kind of get punched in the gut and you're like, holy smokes, I just looked up and we did 10 million less. We did 45 million last year. That's 10 million less than that in volume. And you're like, what did we do? What happened? Why? We were doing everything the same. And what ended up happening is the growth wasn't there, not because of, I'm not blaming the other companies, like the other brokers we were part of, right? Because it still falls on us. I'm not going to be a victim mindset mentality, but the growth and the learning perspective just wasn't there anymore, right? There's times when it's time to move on in your business and that makes it better. And we don't make those decisions because we get comfortable with the relationships, right? We're comfortable in the place that we are, and it making a move or making any type of change. That is uncomfortable, right? And we don't like to experience uncomfortness, right? It's a pain in the ass, man. Like when we moved, I moved a team of almost 14. We had to change signs, all this branding. It was in July of last year. So we had taken, I think we took 18 listings. I know I took 18 listings in July last year, right? So in the week of that move, we were taking, I think we signed 9 of them. But I will say that being at EXP, 12 months later, with COVID and everything going on, what we've learned and implemented in just the small, like we haven't even scratched the surface here.
Yeah.
That we have pinned it and put under contract more than we ever have in our entire career. And just the last couple of months. And that's since COVID started, since March 1st here in Texas, and everything was shutting down. Our business started skyrocketing because our training and we were back re-engaged to learning and making ourselves better. Right. And now we've got 60 something under contract at the moment, and we're not slowing down. We took 21 listings in May or in June. We took 20 listings in March, right? We're averaging 15.5 listings taken every single month. That's up. That's up compared to any year. Right. And that's because of the training and the mentorship and guidance of being able to lean on Jay Kinder, right? To be able to lean on Michael Reese, to be able to lean on Veronica Figueroa, Daniel Beer, Kyle Whistle, right? I've called those guys up. I had a call with Veronica Figueroa 2 weeks ago.
They all have given me their cell phone. Joe, just call me whenever, man.
Yeah.
Who does that? Who does that?
Yeah. Like we've been friends for 10 years. Right. And so that is the amazing thing about this company. And that's why our saying here within our EXP group, we call the group the Honey Badger group, right? Yeah, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I always say, once you truly have to trust your gut, once you come over here and start feeling it, you're going to be like, Joe was right. Nick was right. Like, why didn't I trust my instincts sooner? Yeah. Right? We're not just trying to recruit people. That's the problem. They're like, oh, you're just trying to recruit me. No, who gives a shit? Come over here and better yourself, better your income, better your business.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. So let me ask you, you know my personality. You know a little bit about me. We've talked a few times. I'm a brand new team leader. I've wanted, because of my background in the Army and I was a platoon sergeant, and I love taking soldiers, but really like those brand new leaders and just kind of helping them, walking them through with more questions than me telling them what to do, and kind of just ask them questions, getting them to kind of guide themselves there. It was the most rewarding experience, maybe other than being a dad, of my life. And so I had people telling me, you're going to make more money as a single agent. I don't care if it's true, not true. I didn't do the math. I didn't even care. I want the team thing, and I don't care about the money. If the money works, great. If it doesn't, I don't care. What, knowing my personality, and I've literally been running this team for about 3 weeks, would you say are the 1 or 2 things that I need to focus on to have the best 12 months, the next best 12 months possible?
So I think this is for anybody. I'm assuming that the team that the agent you're bringing on agents to help bring in more business, right? So we're not talking about leveraged support from a staff side.
Yeah, we've got the TC for the whole team, and then my wife does social media and like manages the team, so all the admin parts of the team and the onboarding and all that kind of stuff. So yes,
okay, easy enough. All right, perfect. So what I would say, and this should, as a team leader, this actually should never change, is that, you know, there's a saying, I do it, we do it, they do it.
Yeah.
I always say, when it comes to your lead generation business and you're going to train agents, it should always be I and we do it, never they do it, because you should be doing it together, because you are the leader. And your pack is only as quick as the leader, right? So you're only as fast as the leader is, and they're going to learn from you, right? So if they start having some success, but they don't see you coming in the office anymore, what are they going to do? Well, they're going to be like, well, Joe's not in here. Yeah. Joe's not practicing scripts.
Yes.
Joe's not taking much business. He seems all right. So what I would say is, especially right now with COVID, just jump on Zoom. Everyone has Zoom open or Google Hangouts, and lead generation together, and have it up so people can hear it, right? Then record it and make it for training purposes, just like as a sports team, right? If you play like any sports team, right? What do? They do film, and they do film review.
Yep.
Right. The same thing on this is you guys are making, especially you're very similar to us, right? You're prospecting based. You're making phone calls. Yeah. And so making phone calls, you've got to understand how to talk to people, right? You got to understand how to connect with people right away, because what do they do? When you call somebody they don't know, immediately they're on guard, they're on edge. So how do you hurdle over that wall that they've just put up, so that you can get the right information to determine if this is someone that you really want to have in your database or not.
Yeah.
And the only way that you can teach your people is by doing it there with them. They watch you do it, then they do it, and then you critique and improve.
How many you got on your team?
15.
Would you say that you were the top prospector in your team?
I was.
You were, but now you're probably too busy.
My role has changed. So Elizabeth Austin is my top agent. She has 17 deals closing in July alone, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, she is a monster. She is
great personality, smart,
amazing personality, right? Amazing person, an amazing, there's unfortunately agents that get on teams that are just there for the leads. She's not just here for the leads, right? She's here for the relationships and to grow a business together, which is just an amazing person. And I have all my teams that way, right? I mean, we cut out the cancer right away. But my role has changed. So I am more of as the leader of the Good Home team now. It's more of an agent recruiter. So to continue growing and bringing on more partners, and the training aspect, as well as, I still love marketing, and I like to find that hidden lead source that will work. So I still dig. I'm still highly involved in our marketing side to figure out marketing plans. Like, we're looking at bringing back a guaranteed sale program that we used to run when I was primarily in business, and how would that work with our agents and all that other good stuff. So, but I still jump on the phones for the fun of it. So, for example, here's a story where I was talking about this on the podcast 2 episodes ago. Matt Kelderman beat one of my agents on a listing.
Yeah.
And look, I want everyone to win. I don't want them to win against me.
Just not Matt.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And so that day that I found out we lost against him, I started making calls and I set a listing appointment. And found out today I got it. But the lady slow played me, man. I was like, you gave me a heart attack because I was trying to prove a point. I met with her a week ago, and she finally, I've been following up, and she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for just now getting back. And, she's like, obviously I'm going with you. But I still will jump on because, again, if you're in that leadership role, you should never forget that lead generation, that prospect. And so I will still jump on maybe once a month, depending on how our business is. If I need to prove a point to the team, I will jump on and be like, all right, guys, you're saying people aren't answering the phone. I'm going to pick a random time. I'm going to pick 2 p.m. and I'm going to start making calls. If I can set an appointment, making calls in the 2 p.m. hour, no one should have an excuse why they're not setting enough appointments.
Absolutely. Dude, that's awesome, man. And that was a big thing too in the Army, is never, ever ask a lot of your guys, but never ask them to do more than you'll do yourself. And if you won't do it, then don't ask them to do it. And I'm such a huge fan of that. And I think that, I see that so much. I was going to say in the civilian world. No, I'm talking like the soldier, but in the civilian world, but I saw it in the Army too, man. Once you get to a certain point, you kind of rest on your laurels because you can. And like you could right now rest on your laurels, but it's going to diminish what you have. It might completely get rid of it. It might not, but so many people are able to do it that they do it. And I just my mantra for 2020 is get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's my whole, literally every time I don't like something, if I think about it and I'm aware that I don't like it, it makes me like it more. And I'm like, dude, now I'm doing it twice. Let's do it. So there was one day I forget what my call, I think I had to make 100 calls this particular day and I missed it. The next day I said, I'm going to do 100 plus make it up. I missed it. The next day I said, you're doing 300 calls and that's all you're doing. You're shutting everything else down. You're doing 300 calls and you're not leaving until you do. And that day sucked. It was just so boring, man. I get so bored, but I've never missed my numbers since because I hated that.
Yeah. Well, and I always looked at it like, look, I enjoy, there's something that, when it comes from a prospecting based method that like making the calls, right?
Yeah.
In the beginning, no one, I didn't grow up just loving to make cold calls. Like that wasn't that was not my personality style. I learned to love it, right? Because I saw what I got in this business at 24 years old. My friends weren't buying from me. They were either broke or still in college.
Yeah.
My friends' parents weren't buying from me because I was their broke college kid's friend, right? And so I was like, all right, if I'm going to make this business work, what's the way to do it? And this was before really, if, in hindsight, I should have really gone all in on SEO and that online lead generation, but I didn't know any better, in 2007 on that. It wasn't as big of a deal just yet. So I said, what were some of these top people doing? Well, they were cold calling expired listings and for sale by owners. Okay, cool. So what I did is I just mimicked and modeled what these other top agents were doing that wasn't sphere-based business because my sphere wasn't going to do it. And I didn't want to feel like it, like a multi-level marketing Amway person, being like, calling up my friends and family anyway, be like, hey, you know anybody think about buying or selling? That didn't feel genuine to me. It just didn't feel right. And so I'd rather build it up and want my friends and family to do business with me because I was successful.
Yes.
Right. And so I just learned it. It was YouTube. I went to YouTube. I went there. I found some courses on eBay. I bought some courses on eBay. I couldn't afford it. So what I did is I repackaged it up, whether it's definitely not legal, but I repackaged it up and I resold it on eBay to make my money back.
Yeah.
And I just started implementing those because it was easy. It was Craigslist, right?
Yes.
Learning the expired game, which was tough in the beginning.
Yep.
But then once you get used to it, it's fine.
Yep.
Right. I will tell you today, we do $1.5 million in commissions on that. I suck at calling for sell by owners today. And it's okay. I'm all right with it. Yes. Right. So we're not going to be good at everything. Just you want to go a mile deep on 1, 2, possibly 3 things, and just be the best at that lead source.
Yes. I love that, man. That's a great point. So I'm going to end on this because this is something I've been seeing in my market a lot. And I don't know if you have in your market or not. I'm just going to ask you. But in the last, I want to say 10 deals I did, 3 or 4 of them, and it wasn't always me. Sometimes I had the seller, sometimes I had the buyer. There was an escalation clause involved. Now, I'm in 1 million, as I'm sure you are, 1 million Facebook real estate groups. And when I see the words escalation clause up, whoo, there's like 600 comments in about 28 minutes on both sides. And I'm so interested in what's a guy like you think of that?
Look,
escalation clause.
Well, an escalation clause is basically where you get your buyer to they make let's say they make a $200,000 offer, but the escalation clause is they will go up to a certain price and an agreement. They'll agree to go to 225 if there's other offers, if there are other offers that are coming in that are higher, right? So here's my thought process in escalation clause. And really hot markets, look, I'm all for it. I'm all for it as long as the buyers are comfortable. In Texas, the Texas Real Estate Commission says that's practicing law. There were some agents that would probably do there's some bad apples in there. And so, they were probably advising people to do an escalation clause when they really shouldn't.
Yeah.
Just to make sure they got the deal done. And there's probably some bad listing agents that would lie and because they knew what the escalation clause was and made some fake offers.
Yep.
To get that buyer's escalation clause to max out, right? I see the good and the bad of it. As long as everyone knows the consequences and everyone knows how it plays out.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. As long as an attorney, and especially if you're in Texas, as long as an attorney has drafted up.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I'm not an attorney, so talk with one. But as long as an attorney drafts it up, then it can be presented. So I'm giving you the political answer of I'm on both sides of it.
Interesting. As a listing agent, you love them.
Yes.
Bring them, baby.
Here, even as a buyer's agent, I am, because here's my thought process behind it. Like, I am a logical thinker. I don't get caught up in the emotional side of things. And so I always tell people, how long do you plan on living in this house? So if let's say your escalation clause is a $10,000 or $15,000 increase over what you originally offered.
Yep.
$10,000 to $15,000 over 10 years is $1,000 a year. That is not very much money when it comes to financing out your house. And so, is it really worth losing the house over a couple $100s if you can afford it financially?
Yeah.
And and only you as the buyer can answer that, because I'm not living in your home and making the payments. Yep. Right? Only you can sit down and analyze it. I will tell you right now, my brother and I, we just put under contract a lake house, right? COVID got us realizing we need to have a second property that we can take our family to. That's within an hour and a half driving distance of Dallas, Fort Worth. And the lake house market is on fire.
Yeah.
Right. And we've been going out the last 5 weeks looking at lake houses. We almost gave up. And in fact, we almost ended up buying a lot and we were going to build on it, but we didn't want to wait about 12 to 15 months. And, just like anything, everything happens for a reason. We were kind of waiting. And so a house comes up. We're like, all right, let's go see it. And we dropped everything, drove out there with our wives. We're like, holy shit, this is the one. Right? It has that lake house vibe to it. It has enough land for the kids, enough to grow. And we're like, all right, what do we do? Like, it's a hot market. So we went 100,000 over asking, right? Nuts. 100,000 over asking. That wasn't good enough, right? Luckily, there's more to it. Luckily, we built rapport with that listing agent. She let us come back and revise our offer. And we had to go 141,000 over. We won it by $5,000. And the reason I'm bringing that story up as for you as an agent or for agents that listen to this is stories relate and people can visualize this. And so the conversations we were having, right? We were just like a typical buyer. We're like, maybe we should only go to this price. And I'm like, well, if we offer $5,000 more, what does it matter?
Yeah. Would we be? Yeah.
Yeah. Because we plan on keeping this forever.
Kill yourself over that.
Correct. We had already lost
grand.
We had already lost out on the house previously. Right. And so we're like, man, that sucks. That feeling's awful. Right. And we found another one that actually was better. We're like, all right, the universe is trying to tell us something. Yep. And I was like, my brother was like, why don't we just go at this? And I'm like, look, that's the way typical buyers think. And we won it by 5,000. We won it. The person that was in second place tried to think that the way the typical buyer does too. And they were trying to play like, Price is Right, like $1 more. Yep. Well, we ended up we listened our gut. We went 5,000 over what we were originally going to offer. And that $5,000 increase to make it $141,000 over asking, which is nuts in the first place, won it, right? Because the thought process behind it is $5,000 is not that big of a dip in the bucket over how, if we keep this for 10, 20, 30, 50 years.
Yeah.
Right now, our family can grow in this. And that's something that as agents, you got to have that conversation in those stories so that because buyers just think price, right? They just think the immediate price right now and the effect, and they're not thinking 12 months from now. They're not thinking, 60 months from now, 5 years from now, right?
Yeah.
That's your job as the agent to really show them that and say, is it really, let's not focus on price. Let's focus on your monthly.
Yes.
And let's focus on how happy you will be here. And if you're not going to be happy here, then let's go find another house.
Yes. Yes. So dude, tell me, how does it feel?
To win?
To get that house. You wanted that house. You paid loads of money for that house.
Well, we close on July 10th. So ask me on July 17th when we've had it for a week that we've been able to, we bought it furnished that we can go and relax out there. So ask me what today is, July 2nd. So ask me in 15 days.
That's pretty awesome, man. I'm excited. I guarantee we'll see some photos on Facebook and Instagram.
Of course.
Cool, man.
Of course. And I know you're coming in town, buddy, so you need to come out.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you about that. I would have completely forgot. I sent Matt, that son of a gun. I sent that guy 2 texts because I instantly, my buddy Alex sent me that, and I instantly thought of you guys. So I'm like, Matt, I'm coming. Dude, I want to see you guys. I want to see, let's do a podcast or something. And, dude, I got nothing from Matt. No love. I got nothing.
You just remember that when you're going to send your Dallas-Fort Worth referrals, who you're sending that to.
I will. Dude, I don't know if I told him what you texted me, but now he's going to hear it because you know who did come on? Nick Good came on. Nick Good responds to my texts.
That's right.
Yeah. That's
right.
Are you going?
I'm not, as of right now, I'm not. I want to see how the COVID cases play out because I have, my mother-in-law lives with me and stuff like that. So I just want to see how everything plays out. And if there's tickets available, I'll show up.
How far away are you guys from that?
So it's right up. It's not far from us at all.
Really?
Yeah. This is in our, the Tony Robbins thing's in our backyard.
I'm going to come find you guys.
Dude, we'll come find you. We'll do a show together. And who knows? Maybe you'll be the 4th member of the only real estate podcast worth listening to.
Boom! Yeah, I think that first night we get done at like 6 o'clock or something. So we'll hook up, man. That's awesome.
I love it, man. I love what you're doing. We follow everything. We talk about you on our show. Everyone should follow you. You are a leading example, and you do it consistently. And so I'm proud to call you a friend, and I'm proud to see your growth in this because this is your second go around.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was, dude, I don't remember how much I told you my story, but I was a seller back in this was 10 years ago before the Army. I could sell, but I was so inconsistent. I was just a kid, man. I was in my 20s. I wanted to drink and party and girls, and like that's all I cared about. Literally, the focus was to make money to fund the party. So whatever the party costs, that's how much I need to go out and sell today. That's all I thought. And now it's like comical looking back on that. But yeah, it's just a different world, man. You grow, right? That's life, is you just
absolutely
grow.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm honored and proud to call you a friend, and I'm honored to be on the Joe Rosen show. So now I can check that off my bucket list.
Oh, buddy. Well, I'll be checking off mine to get on your guys' soon here. But I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I can't tell you how much I appreciate everything. Every single one of you three have at some point sent me a DM, returned my text, called me something, and you've helped me grow as a person. And I know you guys don't think you're helping me a lot because it's 60 seconds here and 30 seconds there, but it is monstrous. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate that.
Of course, man. We're always here.
All right. Well, you take care, man. Have a great night. It was great having you on.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Take care.